To configure my clients to use my WSUS server, I'm going to go to Tools and I'm going to pull up Group Policy Management. Group Policy has to be configured for this to actually function correctly. So in my Group Policy console, I'll just full screen that. I'm going to create a new Group Policy object. So I'm going to just right click my domain, create a GPO in this domain and link it here. I'm just going to name it WSUS. Now, very likely in the real world, you may have this linked to a specific organizational unit. Depends on which computers it needs to apply to and how your environment is actually structured. But I'm going to just link it to the domain level, just so we can see it work. I'll click OK for that new GPO. Now it shows up under my domain in the list. I'm going to right click that and choose Edit. I'll full screen my WSUS Group Policy object. Under Computer Configuration, I'm going to expand Policies, Administrative Templates, and Windows Components as soon as that expands here. Under the Windows Components, if I scroll to the bottom of the list, Windows Update is near the bottom. So I'm going to open Windows Update. Many of these options, most of these options actually, are not directly related to WSUS. The two that are required specify Intranet Microsoft Update Service Location. This is the most important setting. By default, all computers, client OSs, server OSs, they all connect to Microsoft Update to download updates. What I have to do is tell all my client computers, do not connect to Microsoft Update, instead connect to my WSUS. If I double click this, it'll open this policy. I'm going to click Enabled and set the Internet Update service for detecting updates. This lets me specify the WSUS server. As we saw earlier, when I install WSUS, it requires IIS to be installed. So we're going to enter not just the computer name, but the URL. So http rts-dc1.rts.local. Now my caps lock is on. This is not case sensitive. I'm just going to highlight and copy that, or you could just type it again. Set the Internet Statistics server. That's just used for reporting. Now, I do not have an alternate download server, and this is a newer option in WSUS in Server 2016. What this would allow me to do is just set a second location. So if you have multiple WSUS servers, if this one cannot be contacted I defined here, then I could effectively have a backup WSUS. But I don't have one of those, so I'm just going to leave the two top boxes pointing to my WSUS. The third box we're going to leave blank, and I'll click OK for that. As soon as that process is out, all the clients that this policy applies to will be directed to that WSUS. I'm also going to configure automatic updates. This lets me define what schedule I want updates to be downloaded on. So I'm going to click Enable. This lets me define what schedule I want clients to download updates from the WSUS server. I'm going to click Enabled. I'm going to choose Auto Download and schedule the install. The other options are more what you would see on like a home computer, like Notify for Download, Notify for Install, Auto Download, Notify for Install, allow the local admin to choose the setting. With WSUS, I don't want any of those other options. We want this process to be completely automated with no user interaction required. So we're going to auto download and schedule. I can pick the day and time. I'm just going to choose every day for my little demo here. And we will choose 12 o'clock. So that would be noon. This is on a 24-hour schedule. So we'll just choose 12 noon. If I want to deploy updates for Microsoft Office, other Microsoft products, that's an option here as well. WSUS has the ability to download those updates, even drivers for video cards, sound cards, possible to download through WSUS. Well, I'm going to choose OK for that. So now I have my schedule defined as to when clients should download and install updates. And I define the policy that points my clients to the WSUS server. Some of the other options here, now if you're following along on your own machine, any of these options you click on, they give you an incredible description that leaves no doubt as to what it actually does. But you'll see many of these are related to restarts. So they're just optional settings, like no auto restart with logged on users. If I want to reprompt for restarts with a scheduled install, you may have seen that on your personal computer. When you install updates, you may get a pop-up that says, oh, you need to restart. Do you want to restart now, or do you want to postpone it for 1 hour, 2, 3, or 4 hours? And you choose whatever you believe is appropriate. A very important option, enable client-side targeting. This is the other extremely important option. I'm going to click Enable Client-Side Targeting. I'm going to click Enabled, and this says Target Group Name for this computer. I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to call it HR-Win10 Clients. So we'll say if you are in the HR department, you may require updates that other departments do not require. So I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to name it HR-Win10 Clients, and I'm going to choose OK for that. So we have that defined. We will see those show up in WSUS.